Hey y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have the spring seasonal box for 2017. If you're not familiar with the seasonal box, 3 makers get together every season, so 4 times a year, and they are Turtle Tootsie Polishes, Anchor and Heart Lacquer, as well as Colora's de Carol. Each season they bring in a guest maker. For this box, it's Heather's Hughes. This is a box of 4 springy, gorgeous polishes. They were sent to me for review. They'll be available starting on April 2nd at the Turtle Tootsie Polishes storefront. I'll link that down below, as well as all of the others makers, social medias, and store platforms. So I am going to go ahead and get into the swatches. So first up is Turtle Tootsie Polishes Carnation, and this is described as a bubblegum pink scattered hollow polish that flashes with purple shimmer, and it also has pink micro flakies as well as rainbow flakies. So that purple shimmer almost translates as blue to me, and I love a blue and pink combination. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Carnation swatched on my natural nail. So here is one coat. This formula is really easy to use. It is a little bit sheer. It's not too thick or too thin, but it did tend to leave a little bit of brush strokes on the nail, so you may want to be mindful of that. Here's one coat. I'll let that dry and then come back in and show you what a second coat looks like. With this second coat, I did get more of those flakies. That's going to add a little bit of texture, but a good top coat will help smooth it right out. It did brighten up that pink base and add more of that purple shimmer, but it's still just shy of being opaque for me. So I'll let this dry and then come back in and show you what a third coat looks like. So here is my third and final coat. I'm going in for a nice juicy big third coat here, and it did bring it right to the edge of being opaque for me. In most lightings this is completely opaque. So this is a really pretty, really unique polish within my collection. Here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. You can see where those flakes kind of bump up the finish a little bit. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight, and that's really where this polish stands out. All of that hollow comes out. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is Sunshine and Pansies from Anchor and Heart Lacquer. This is described as a mellow gold-toned yellow crelly packed with subtle green shimmer, gold and silver micro shreds, and larger glitter in violet, magenta, gold, and silver. I did have a little bit of settling of the larger glitters, but just if you flip your bottle upside down really quickly, those tend to disperse. So here's a quick look at that brush shot, and I'll show you how Sunshine and Pansies swatched on my natural nail. So here is one coat. Again, this is acrylic, so it's going to be one that you need to build up a little bit. This first coat did add a nice base, but it's still quite sheer, so I'll let that dry and come back in for a second coat. So here is my second coat. You can see I have a few of those larger glitters on the nail. My first coat did not film correctly, so I had to go back and refilm that. That's why there's a little bit of indiscrepancy there. This second coat does an amazing job at building this polish up. I could still see just barely a flash of nail line, so I'll go ahead and show you what a third coat looks like. A third coat does add more of those larger glitters, and of course it deepens up that gold. I really prefer this polish at 3 coats. It does dry down a little bit textured due to those larger glitters. So here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. So here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. Anchor and Heart Lacquer also includes a magnet using their Sunshine and Pansies on a heart cabochon. You can put this really anywhere. I did pop this directly onto my Helmer, and it's such a sweet addition, really thoughtful. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting, and then once more at an angle in that direct sunlight. So next up is Jade Vine from Colora's de Carol. This is described as a sparkly turquoise linear holographic with gold and hollow flakes as well as some fine neon green glitter. So this is just a gorgeous mix. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Jade Vine swatched on my natural nail. I think my camera is really wanting to pick up the blue tones in this polish. It is, I think, a little bit more green in person, very much a pretty turquoise color. This first coat does go on really easily, but a little bit sheer, so I'll let this dry and then come back in and show you what a second coat looks like. So here is my second coat. This is another polish that really builds up beautifully on itself. 2 coats is going to be enough, I think, for most people. I do have that really hard nail line, so I could still see just a flash. I'm going to let this dry and go ahead and show you what a third coat looks like. This third coat for me does deepen up the finish a little bit. I don't think it necessarily adds any more holographic. It does have a very strong effect already, but 3 coats for sure brings this one completely opaque for me. So here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. Here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with top coat. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting. And then once more at an angle and that direct sunlight. So lastly today I have Hydrangea by Heather's Hues, and this is described as a lavender pastel with periwinkle shimmer and a touch of purple and indigo microflakes. So this almost looks like a speckled egg. So pretty. That shimmer is really subtle, but it does show up on the nail. I'll go ahead and show you a brush shot, and I'll show you how Hydrangea swatched on my natural nail. So here is one easy coat of this polish. This one was an absolute dream to work with. It just went on really easily and really opaque. I would say that this is acrylic, but applied more like a cream for me, just really easy to use. So this one coat is just shy of being opaque for me. I'll let that dry and then come back in for a second coat. So here is my second coat, and this for sure brings this one completely opaque. I do love those darker flakes on the lavender base. I think this is really spring appropriate and just a really cool mix. So here's a look at that completed mani before top coat. This one does dry down a little bit textured, so you'll want to use your favorite top coat just to help smooth it out a little bit. I think this is going to be one that looks really cool matte as well. So here's a look from another angle with top coat underneath direct sunlight. This is my swatch photo under artificial lighting. And then lastly at an angle once more in that direct sunlight. So that does wrap up this swatch and review. These will be available April 2nd all the way through the 9th. They'll retail for $35 plus shipping, and I will link all the makers' social media and storefronts down below. If you'd like to see more photos, I do have those available on my blog at sloppyswatches.wordpress.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at sloppyswatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.